commander-in-chief's role to keep this country safe. He is doing anything but that by having a wide-open border, allowing people in who we have no idea what their intentions are. Let me bring in Trump Media and Technology Group CEO, former California Congressman Devin Nunes. And Devin, I know you have news on Truth Social, which we're going to get to, but I want to get your take first on what we're looking at. You were the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House of Representatives when you were a congressman. You looked at all of these issues. What are your thoughts on this busload of people now on the ground in New York City from Texas? Illegal migrants, which Joe Biden has welcomed in. Now we don't know what they're going to do and where they're going. And this does not include the gotaways, Devin. Your thoughts?
Look, I'm here in Texas now. I spent a lot of time at the border over the last few years when I was in Congress. And I'll tell you this, I think that this is finally hitting New York City, hitting Washington, D.C., that a lot of border states have been dealing with for a long time. And in Texas and parts of California, it's just become out of control. I think I told you before on the show earlier in the year, Maria, that there are people from coming like 80 or 90 different countries. I mean, it's absolute madness. When I was there, I saw a family that had come from Romania like 2 days before who openly admitted that they were brought in by the cartels. So I think that's what you're dealing with. This is going to be a threat that's going to last for a really long time.
So tell me about the services that they're offered, Devin. I mean, you know this better than most in terms of the services that are available to people who need it. Now, they're not American citizens. They're illegal. They illegally crossed into America, and yet they're given money for food stamps. They're given money for education and health care. What are these services like, and what will they be offered, in your view?
Well, look, there are plenty of, between the nonprofits and the government agencies and the government money that goes to these agencies. I think the difference has been is you've had a place like Texas, here in Texas, that's had to support this from their state budget, and they've just said, look, enough is enough. I mean, they're actually down there patrolling it themselves. So I think that's why you're seeing them shift them to these other states that happen to be, no offense to you guys there in New York City, but for a long time, the politicians from that area have promoted this madness. So it's, I think the way that a lot of people around the rest of America view it is that if you think it's okay for red states and red communities, then it should be okay for New York City, and it'll be up to New York City to figure out how to take care of them.
Well, we're going to keep these pictures up so that our viewers can see these people on the walk there at Port Authority. We don't know where they're going to go next, but let me switch gears and get your take on Twitter slamming Elon Musk again over his response to the lawsuit. In a countersuit made public yesterday, Musk is accusing Twitter of fraud, saying that it misrepresented the number of monetizable daily active users and spam accounts before he agreed to the $44 billion takeover. Twitter board chairman Brett Taylor tweeted that the company's 127-page response said that Musk's claims are, quote, factually inaccurate, legally insufficient, and commercially irrelevant. Devin, you were the first to raise this issue when you came on this show and said there are so many fake accounts there. Now, Elon Musk wants out of this deal. Your thoughts?
Well, I would first say grab the popcorn. This is lots of excitement here to watch. And look, I said it from the very beginning, at Truth Social, we never wanted to become Twitter. That was not something that we wanted. And I think at first when I was saying that, people said, well, why wouldn't you want to? Because, Twitter does have a global brand. But what I said at the time is, look, they are just a PR wire on the internet for celebrities and sports figures and corporations. It's not a place that people go to social network. So if you're a large account like an Elon Musk, look, you're going to get a lot of interaction there, but it's going to be difficult for you to find other people and like-minded people, not to mention just how woke and how left they are. I think that Elon Musk knows that he's going to have a tough time even beginning to change the culture at Twitter. So look, remember, I think I was on your show and they said it was like 5% bots or something. And I said, look, it's probably going to be a lot higher than 95% bots than it is 5% bots. Now, I was making a little bit of a joke there. But look, there's just a lot of spam and fake accounts that are on Twitter. And that's why, for Truth Social, it's not something that we want to be. It's not what our users want. And look, we'll let Twitter have that all day long, but it's just going to be it's a limited model as a global PR wire.
Well, I know that Truth Social has been expanding again. The social media platform's app is now available for pre-order for U.S.-based users of Google, the Google Play Store. It will be the first time Android users can use the app on their phones. How important is Android users for Truth Social's growth?
Well, look, it's roughly half the market, approximately. Not to mention, I last did your show from the UK. There's a lot more Android users in the UK. So as we expand globally, it's critically important that we get on the Google Play Store. So, look, we're happy that Google has now put us up for pre-order. We'd like to get the app approved. We've had it in for a while. It's something that our users want because you can go to truthsocial.com and you can actually get an account, and it's just more complicated because you have to go through your web browser. So people that have Androids, they're used to the Google Play Store, and it's something that we want to see happen sooner rather than later, and we're willing to work with Google however we have to get that done so that people who have Android phones in the United States and in the United Kingdom can log on and join Truth Social.
All right, Devin, we'll be watching the expansion and growth of Truth Social. Thanks very much for weighing in on all of that. We appreciate your time this morning.